Have you ever felt invisible, as if your presence no longer matters just because you've grown older? Maybe there was a moment when your words were brushed aside, or when common decency, once a given, no longer seemed to apply to you. It's not just hurtful, it's heavy, but you're not alone. And this is where we begin. Not with resentment, but with understanding, self-compassion, and quiet strength. That allows us to walk through a world that sometimes forgets how to honour those who've walked before. Let's talk about it. Why does it hurt so deeply? When people stop showing respect, because respect isn't just about courtesy or kind words, it's about being seen, being acknowledged, still having a place in the hearts and minds of others. When that respect fades, it's not just status that disappears, it's the feeling of mattering, of being human. Psychologically, the experience of being disrespected can leave wounds just as deep as betrayal or grief. And for older adults, who may already be navigating physical changes, loneliness, or personal losses, that emotional wound can feel even heavier. But here's the thing. Most people don't intend to be hurtful. They simply don't see what we feel. The world moves quickly, and in its rush, it often forgets to look back. We live in an age that celebrates speed, youth, and constant output. And in this obsession with doing more, we start to equate value with productivity. Older adults get labelled as past their prime, or worse, as burdens. But in many cultures, growing older means growing wiser. It means you are the keeper of stories, the vessel of hard-earned lessons, the quiet voice that has survived storms younger hearts haven't yet faced. So when we feel disrespected, it's not just a personal pain, it's a cultural wound. And that truth matters. But here's another truth. We don't have to stay inside that wound. Because while we can't always change how others act, we can change how we respond. And that is real power. Not loud power, but quiet, steady, inner strength. It begins with reclaiming our worth, not from those who ignore us, but from within ourselves. We don't need to fight for recognition in a world that's too distracted to look. Instead, we rise gracefully, wisely, with dignity that does not depend on applause. This first part is a recognition. Yes, being disrespected hurts. Yes, it can feel isolating, but no, we are not powerless. Because what lives within us is so much stronger than what others fail to see. In the next part, we'll explore how to build inner resilience and respond to disrespect with clarity, grace, and quiet courage. So how do we respond when the world speaks without listening, or looks, but does not truly see? The answer isn't always easy, but it begins inside, with a soft but unwavering decision to value ourselves, even when others don't. Resilience isn't about pretending you're not hurt. It's not about putting on a brave face or dismissing what's real. It's about choosing again and again to hold yourself with kindness when the world offers none. You don't have to earn your worth. You already carry it. And when someone treats you as if you don't matter, remember, that says more about them than it ever will about you. Sometimes disrespect comes from ignorance. Sometimes from youth that hasn't yet learned empathy. Sometimes from pain that hasn't been healed. None of those are excuses, but they are reminders that their blindness does not diminish your light. So what can you do in the moment? First, breathe. Let the emotion rise and settle. Because when you respond from your center, you respond with power. Sometimes that means speaking up, not to argue, but to affirm. A quiet, calm voice can be the loudest truth in the room. You can say, I may be older, but my experience matters. Or, please don't speak to me that way. Or even, I expect respect, and I offer it in return. You don't have to fight. You don't have to shrink. You can simply stand, as the years have taught you to do, with a steadiness that doesn't beg for validation. And if speaking up doesn't feel safe or possible, that's okay too. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not internalize what doesn't belong to you. Their rudeness is not your truth. So protect your peace, guard your inner space, and surround yourself whenever you can with people who see you, not just as someone older, but as someone whole. And yes, that's not always easy, especially when isolation creeps in or when even loved ones forget to listen. But resilience is not something you're born with. It's something you build, brick by brick, moment by moment. Every time you choose not to believe the lie that says you are less, you build another layer of strength. Every time you choose kindness for yourself, you soften the weight of the world's harshness. You are not fragile. You are seasoned. You are strong in ways many cannot see because they have not walked your path. So hold your head high, not out of pride, but out of quiet self-respect. Because no one can truly take away your dignity unless you hand it to them. And you don't have to. You have earned your place, your voice, your space in this world. Let no one, no matter how loud, fast, or dismissive, convince you otherwise. And now, let's move to the final part, where we'll talk about legacy, healing, and how to become a quiet force that changes hearts, simply by living with grace. Let's talk about something deeper now. When people don't value the elderly, they're not just being unkind, they're forgetting a truth that holds civilizations together, that wisdom is not in speed, but in stillness, not in trend, but in timeless truth. You carry stories that were never written down. You hold lessons shaped by joy, by failure, by love, by loss. And just because someone chooses not to see that doesn't mean it disappears. You are still a well of quiet power. Sometimes the best way to respond to a world that overlooks you is to become a mirror, to live in such a way that you reflect back what others have forgotten. Kindness without weakness, wisdom without arrogance, presence without needing applause. Because here's the beautiful truth. Not everyone will understand you, but those who do will never forget you. There's a power in living with grace, especially in a world that celebrates noise. Grace is strength wrapped in gentleness. It does not demand attention. It creates space. And sometimes that space becomes the very room where others begin to see their own flaws. Not because you told them, but because your quiet dignity made the truth impossible to ignore. Your presence becomes a lesson, not a lecture. And little by little it changes things. You may never see all the impact you make, but every time you speak with love instead of bitterness, every time you respond with patience instead of rage, you are planting something. Maybe not in the one who hurt you, but in the hearts of those watching. Grandchildren, neighbours, strangers, they see, they learn, and they carry it forward. That's legacy. Not medals, not monuments, but the quiet transformation of hearts, because you chose to live with meaning. So what can you do now? Continue to honour your worth. Keep telling your stories. Pass on your wisdom, not just in words, but in how you show up. Find spaces where you're heard. And if those spaces don't exist, create them. Be around those who value your presence, who light up when you speak, who see you not just as someone from the past, but someone who still shapes the present. And always remember this, you are not invisible, you are not forgotten, you are not a burden, you are a reminder of what truly matters. Compassion, resilience, truth, grace. So take up space with softness and strength, and let your life continue to be the quiet, steady fire that warms others, even when they don't know where the light is coming from. Because that is the power of a life well lived, and no one can take that from you, ever. And if today's message touched something in you, if it reminded you of your worth, your wisdom, or simply made you feel seen, then remember this: you are never alone in this journey. Here on Age Well, we honour the beauty of growing older, not as a decline, but as a deeper unfolding. We speak your language, we walk beside your questions, and we celebrate your quiet victories. So if this space brought you comfort, come back. Come back whenever you need to be reminded of who you are, of how much you still carry, of how deeply your life matters. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and leave a piece of your story in the comments. We're listening because Age Well isn't just a channel, it's a circle, a gentle fire that stays lit, waiting for you to return, again and again. Until next time, stay kind, stay strong, and most of all, stay deeply, beautifully you. We'll see you soon.